My name is Thomas Holland, this is Throttle House, and this is my 1996 Volvo 850. I think that this is one of the best winter beater cars that you can buy. Right now in my area you can get these for $2,500 that are working, functioning, ready to go onto the road. Or if you want a wagon, which this isn't sadly, you can get one for about $4 grand. So the reason that I like this so much is because it is a Volvo from the 90s, which means that it is basically a tank. The entire side of the car here underneath is a honeycomb structure, which prevents the side impacts from intruding into the cabin. It also makes it massively heavy and incredibly durable. Right now, I would challenge you to find any rust on the chassis of this car, and it has seen 2 decades of winters. Now, no, I don't mean that it is the best daily driver, period, that you can get. Obviously, there are much better cars for that. For example, the new Volvo V90, which I tested recently, is an absolutely awesome car for driving every day. It's sensationally comfortable, wonderfully powerful, and it has the nicest interior of any car I've ever seen under $150,000. But for $2,500, and for a guy like me who has 3 other cars, 2 BMWs and a Miata that I do not want to drive in the winter, this is pretty much the perfect car. Why? Well, first of all, the big thing that I like about the 850 is that it is just stupid reliable. So when I say reliable, I don't mean just not like an old Toyota where all you have to do is change the oil and it'll go for 200 million kilometers. I mean that when something breaks, it doesn't make the car stop working. So you can have stuff going wrong all over the place and the Volvo 850 will just kind of keep on trucking. It might not run very well, but it'll keep running. Okay, that's probably my favorite part. I've had issues with some starting things. I've had, yeah, no, that's about it. We had to replace the thermostat once. Yeah, that's it. So why do I like the Volvo 850 so much to drive? Well, it has a 5-cylinder engine, which sounds awesome. No, it's not very powerful, and this is not the turbocharged one. It has under 200 horsepower. It's not fast. It's never meant to be fast. But the car is very nice to drive. It has a cable throttle. Everything is very predictable. The ride is amazing. And it has an interior that makes you feel always at home. It's very Swedish. Everything is very built for the driver, very usable, everything's within reach, and I have an adjustable tilting and telescoping steering wheel, which means that, pointlessly, I can get an absolutely perfect driving position in this car, which matters a lot to me. And I'm sitting on a seat that might as well be an IKEA sofa, because Volvo has been, continues to do, and has always made some of the best seats in cars that you can possibly buy. So basically, instead of trying to make them massively adjustable, what Volvo did was just make them really big and wide and squishy. It's like a sofa. Kind of no matter where you put it, the seat is comfortable. I've been in a lot of modern cars, and I'm always fighting for a comfortable position. I've never been uncomfortable in this car. And it's just got massive amounts of space. Look at this. This is like Land Rover Discovery levels of headroom. And like, I can't hit anything with my knees. I don't know if you can see my knees going down here, but I actually can't hit the door without going way over there and way over on this side. I've never seen a modern car that has this much interior space in a sedan. There's lots of seat room in the back too, obviously. Now, other important things that make this an enthusiast, okay, so a lot of you are going, yeah, but it's a bad winter car because it's front wheel drive. I'll get to that in a second. But first of all, in 1996, they made this car into a British touring car. It won 6 races, and it got the team, the constructor, 3rd place in the Constructors' Championship. That's awesome. That means this car, 1996, in sedan, was made into a race car. Race car heritage. Boom. Now, as for the way that the car handles, we're going to get to the front-wheel drive part in a second, because that's kind of the elephant in the room. This has Delta Link semi-independent rear suspension, which has a special bushing that is designed to flex and turn, which means that the Volvo 850 from 1996 has passive rear wheel steering. And it actually feels really impressively planted on the road, and for such a large vehicle, it handles quite well. The steering is hydraulically assisted, and it is actually quite heavy. It's not the most direct front end in the world. You are still driving a large, boxy boat of a Swedish car. But the car, for what it looks like, you'd look at it and go like, I bet that handles like crap, and it doesn't. It actually handles pretty well. Now, here's when things get interesting. We get onto some snowy roads, and it kind of changes. You go, wait a second, why is this car doing this? When I first started driving this, I was like, there's got to be something wrong with the alignment, because this car rotates at the limit on snowy roads in a really exciting way. It actually rotates more than many all-wheel drive cars that I've driven. So here's my theory as to why that is. It's a combination of the passive rear wheel steering and the fact that this being a front-wheel drive car, all the weight is over the front. In the front, we have very skinny snow tires. Now, to a point, if you change the width of a tire, all it does is actually change the shape of the contact patch on the ground. But when you get skinny enough and the car is heavy enough, some of the pressure of the air is supported by the sidewall, and you can actually get a tire that has a smaller contact patch than if you put a wider tire on it. Which means that all that weight, with skinny tires in the front end cuts into the snow. So when you turn into a corner, the front end just kind of digs in, and the natural inertia of the rest of the car in the rear end brings it around in this nice rotation. So for whatever reason, even though it's front-wheel drive, if you put your foot down around a corner, the car just kind of goes into a little bit of a drift, and it is really, really easy to control and very satisfying and surprising for a front-wheel drive car. Now that said, let's get into the front-wheel drive thing. The 240 that this replaced was a rear-wheel drive car. That is immediately in my mind a deal breaker for me, because I really like rear-wheel drive, and all the classic Volvos were rear-wheel drive, so I kind of want one of those. But after driving one of these, I don't miss it for just a runaround car, a car that's going to keep me going in the winter. Because it doesn't feel annoyingly front-wheel drive like a lot of cars do. So, since there's so much weight over the front, the car is very big and heavy, and the tires are skinny, you have quite a lot of traction in the front. The front grips very well in deep snow, or on ice, or in whatever. And it kind of just claws its way out of situations. I've never been stuck. I live in Canada, and I've never been stuck driving this car in the winter. I don't know, whatever you want to argue and say, yes, if the rear wheels were also being driven, it would be better. But the thing is that the simplicity of the front-wheel drive design, we have a transverse mounted inline 5 engine in the front, and there's a ton of space around it. There are no parts of this car that are hard to work on. So that, for me, being a guy who does all my own repairs, is a huge bonus. Do you see how I'm making a case for this car? And surprisingly, it's fun to drive. It has a sport mode. There's a sport mode. I've got winter, economy, and sport. I'm in sport right now. When I put my foot down, it just downshifts one of its 4 gears. Easier. I'm flat out right now. So, that is why I think the Volvo 850 is an absolutely excellent winter beater car. For the price, I think it can't be beat. And most importantly, it's Swedish. It's cool. It's a Volvo from the 90s. It's literally made out of right angles. It's a box. It's awesome. If it was a wagon, I would be more excited than I am now, but it's still a Volvo, and that makes it just automatically cool. I don't care what you say.
So, are there better winter/daily cars? Probably, but I've found a friend in the Volvo 850. It's cheap, comfortable, different, and durable, and that's really all a guy like me can ask for. Now seriously, hit that subscribe button and I can keep bringing you content like this. Leave a comment below and tell me what your ultimate budget daily driver is. Thanks for watching Throttle House.